horror film by the unlikely Kevin Smith, as it says on the DVD cover. Kevin Smith, who wrote Clerks and Chasing Amy and, you know, all those slacker comedies from the 90s, and has since been on kind of a losing streak since he's hit the aughts. Red State is kind of an idea that's been boiling in the back of his mind for a while. It's kind of his Inglourious Bastards, if you will. I've been hearing about this project a lot, but he's never really been able to get the opportunity to do it. And finally, after having 2 flops in a row, he figures, well, why not? I'll just throw it out there. I'll self-finance it. And I won't even wait for a distribution company to pick it up. I'll just tour it myself and release it all on my own terms, so I don't have to spend more money than is necessary. And he's made quite a big to-do about how he's gone about marketing this movie, or not marketing it. So in the end, is it good? And my question would be is mostly. I think it's an interesting movie, and it might be a little bit more interesting than good in some ways. I think I'm going into the review without really giving a proper synopsis of what I think I'm doing.
Probably. That's all right.
The movie is about a couple of horny teenagers who want to hook up with this lady, this older lady
38.
that they find on time.
That's ancient.
Yeah, played by Melissa Leo, who they find online, and they plan on sharing a special evening with her. And they live amongst a crazy sort of religious sect, basically parodying or satire of the Westboro's Baptist Church, those very angry people who picket military funerals, and so it's more or less making not light of, but making a reference to them, and they are entrapped, kind of in a hostel-like sort of situation. And when they wake up after being drugged at Melissa Leo's trailer, they wake up in a church in the middle of a very dark, hyper-religious service that is going on in cages. And then from there, the movie kind of moves around in some weird ways, and we're introduced to John Goodman, who plays an FBI agent who kind of catches wind that something weird might be going on at this church, and he kind of comes along. And then the movie goes from the social satire of the Westboro's Baptist Church into a political satire of what happened at Waco a few years back. The movie is really anarchistically crazy. This is a very angry, messy movie made by somebody who is very angry at the moment he made it. And I like the film because of that. I feel like Cop Out and Zack and Miri Make a Porno were so lazy and so by the numbers, and so it just felt like he had no heart in those movies at all. And this movie's all heart, it's all emotion, and it's all just throwing it out there. And because of that, not everything sticks. I think that the movie has a hard time finding its footing. There's so much going on, and there's so many themes he wants to pull in that a lot gets left by the wayside, and not everything completely gels together. But for its sheer F.U. Hollywood quality to it, and emotion in the film, I enjoy it on that level. And it's nice to see Kevin Smith doing something that matters again, something on the same level as maybe Dogma or Chasing Amy, but in a different genre.
Very different genre. What'd you give it?
I give it a B-.
B-, all right.
Well, an enthusiastic B-.
I guess the reasons that you gave it your B-, because mine is a C-. Went into this movie because it's advertised as a horror movie. I'm like, okay, starts out, great horror movie. Okay, this is going to be fun. Let's see what happens to these 3 kids for the next hour and a half. 40 minutes later, the kids are all not in it anymore. Okay, so be it. Well, let's go with John Goodman's story and become an action movie. I don't know. This movie was kind of like, I was ready for a horror movie, and I got stuck with this John Wayne action movie that's just, not John Wayne because it's horribly graphic and intense, but I think the only 2 parts I really liked was that really dark sermon. This guy just gives this great sermon.
Michael Parks, who plays the lead character, And I think John
cult
Goodman
leader.
and Melissa Leo, I think all give really, really strong
Oh yeah,
performances.
the acting was good. Except the
kids not so
the kids
much.
not so
No.
much. They're teenagers.
But they're basically playing horror movie cliches.
yeah, so they could.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were awful. But now I got disappointed. Let's see what I got here. Starts good, fast-paced starting. I think that was my biggest beef with it is when
I just couldn't decide what it wanted
just
to be.
couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Some of the gun battles were interesting. I liked the stand. There's a standoff with a bunch of guns and stuff. So that was kind of fun. But there's all these cult characters and they're dying off rather quickly. So
Yeah, well, people are just
Which is nice.
picking left and off. And that was one thing I kind of appreciate about the movie.
Yeah,
is that
fast-paced.
It's fast-paced, but it's unpredictable.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. Unlike, say, something like Cop Out or
That's
Zach
true.
Miri, which was just a big stack
That
of
is
cliches.
true. Definitely had a couple interesting moments. So yeah, C-. I was disappointed. I could have watched something else and been happier.